now.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. A Pontotoc man accused of impersonating a police officer remains in jail tonight.
Bond was set at $2 million today for Lewis Winston Scott. He's charged with one count of attempted kidnapping in Lee County. He's accused of using flashing lights in his black Kia sedan and pulling a female driver over near Birmingham Ridge Road. She drove off when she saw Scott approach her with a knife. A short time later, Scott is accused of stopping a female driver on I-22 in Union County and then allegedly forcing her into his car and sexually assaulting her in another location before letting her go. Although bond was set, a circuit court rescinded that bond for Scott, keeping him behind bars.
We wanted to make sure that this individual is not back out in the general public anytime soon. So with a no bond, he can't get out of the insurance. So he can get also by the Mississippi Department of Corrections. He's also soon going to be facing multiple felony charges out of Union County. I think the public can work a lot easier tonight for this guy's out.
Charges in Union County: 3 counts of sexual assault and 1 count of kidnapping. He served 14 years in prison for similar crimes. He was still on probation.
We think we know our neighbors, but behind some doors there are people whose backgrounds may surprise you.
The names and addresses of convicted sex offenders are published online. The public record is there to make sure offenders follow the law. WCBI's Parker Keenan with law enforcement and joins us in the studio with more on that story. Parker.
When a convicted sex offender is released from jail, he or she needs some place to go. There are laws about that. And one more specific law, the individual also has to register.
You can find them on this website. People who have been convicted of sexual offenses. More than 200 convicted sexual offenders live in Lowndes, Oktibbeha, and Webster counties combined. And they're required to check in on a regular basis.
They actually had to register with the Highway Patrol through their driver's license agency every 30 days. They have to come here if they're going to be away from their home for 7 days, consecutive 7 days. They have to notify us. They also have to notify wherever they're going to be staying at.
The rules are strict when it comes to where they can live. They can't live within 1,500 feet of any building occupied by large numbers of children, schools, daycares, and churches. Law enforcement takes a hands-on approach to that.
We actually go to the home, make sure that is their legal residence. They are staying there. Sometimes we even interview the people, other people in the home, just to make sure they're telling the truth and that is their permanent residence.
Failure to check in with these various agencies is not something law enforcement would advise.
If we have an individual that hasn't checked in within 30 days and is out of compliance, then I relay that on to our deputies.
If they're out of compliance, they'll get charged with failure to register, keep up the register of sex offender. It's not necessarily a normal thing, but some of them do forget to register and come in and let us know.
Information on names and addresses is open for everyone.
All the files are public record, and anybody has access to them at any time, and they can also go online to the state registry of sex offender and they can check each individual that lives in their county and how close proximity they are to their homes.
For Webster County, residents take full advantage of the information.
We have a great community here that if anybody's out of compliance, we get phone calls. Our community really steps up and helps to keep us in compliance and them in compliance with everything.
WCBI actually checked the registry earlier today, and we found that 16 registered offenders live within only a block of the station. If you would like to see where in your area are sex offenders, there will be a link in our story online at WCBI.com.
Good information there, Parker. Thanks so much. The search continues in Pickens County today for a wanted man. 33-year-old Jerry Michael Rogers is now facing charges in Pickens County for resisting arrest and attempting to elude. He's wanted in Fayette and Lamar counties in West Alabama, along with Lowndes County in Mississippi. Pickens County Sheriff David Afston says the Alabama Department of Corrections also wants Rogers for a probation violation. He's about 6 feet tall, weighs 200 pounds, and he has tattoos. This is a mugshot from 2013. Abston believes the last known whereabouts of Rogers was on Shockley Road about 4 o'clock this morning. That's when someone called to report that some water was stolen from a cooler. Law enforcement don't consider Rogers dangerous, but they say he is elusive and can live in the woods for days on end. Abston says Rogers has been arrested more than 45 times.
Investigators are still searching for a trio of robbers in West Point. Officers were called to the one stop on Highway 45 alternate about 9:30 last night. Investigators say one suspect provided cover with a semi-automatic pistol while the other two snatched the cash register. The armed robbers had shirts covering their faces and wore dark-colored clothing. They took off running from the store after the holdup. If you have any information, call Golden Triangle Crime Stoppers or 911. Time now to turn our attention to weather, and meteorologist Amanda Reynolds has your first look. Amanda?
Well, thanks, Joey. Right now up in Tupelo, we've seen those clouds continue to build in over the last several hours. Right now, though, 83 degrees. They're one of the warm spots. Areas to the north saw a little bit more of that sunshine. Areas to the south didn't see quite as much. We'll see those temperatures drop down into the 70s as we go forward to the rest of this evening. Those rain showers will begin to move in as well. Can't rule them out as we go into the evening hours. I have your full forecast coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Amanda. A Clay County resident is on her way to help those affected by Hurricane Harvey. She checked in at the American Red Cross offices in Tupelo before leaving for Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This is a staging area for Red Cross volunteers, and she believes she'll eventually be assigned to help out in Texas and likely be working in one of the Red Cross shelters for those impacted by devastating floods.
Volunteering is important to me because I do get an opportunity to give back to the community and give back to my nation and use the experience and capabilities and knowledge that I have so that I can help others and relieve their suffering.
This is the Clay County resident's first deployment with the Red Cross.
The flooding and devastation in Texas are eerie reminders of the storm that hit New Orleans and the Mississippi Gulf Coast 12 years ago today.
Hurricane Katrina relocated thousands of people, causing many to find new hometowns. Our Jory Talley joins us live in Columbus, where some of those transplants put down roots.
Desiree and Colin Krieger are one of those couples. They thought Columbus was just going to be a temporary stop, but it ended up being a permanent one. Unlike them, others planted their roots in Houston, Texas, and are yet again going through a devastating disaster just a little over 10 years later. Desiree and Colin Krieger were born and raised in New Orleans. They met there, married there, and moved from there, settling in Ocean Springs. Then came Katrina, and everything changed.
That's far enough away from New Orleans. We don't want to go any further. This is it. And then the hurricane hit, and we made our way up here, and we're like, okay, well, we'll stay here for a little while, and then we'll move back down. But that didn't happen.
That's how the Kriegers came to Columbus. It's where they celebrated their first wedding anniversary and started their family of 5.
Well, when we decided to live in Columbus after the storm and embrace the whole Golden Triangle, what we liked about the city was the old houses and the closeness, and everybody was very welcoming here. And so we started having our own shindigs, our own block parties, and we probably really embraced the bloom where you're planted philosophy.
The couple says bringing a little more of the Big Easy to the friendly city is how they repay the town for taking them in over 10 years ago.
The community is our family. And, you know, who wouldn't want to have your family get together all the time and have fun and, you know, and eat and have a good time. Mm-hmm. And that's what New Orleans is to us, is getting together, having a good time, you know, with your family.
While the Kriegers continue striving in the Golden Triangle, other Hurricane Katrina transplants are living a devastating version of deja vu.
A lot of the people that evacuated from Katrina got sent to Houston, and they were displaced to Houston, and a lot of them stayed there because they couldn't afford to come back to New Orleans. So a lot of those people that lived there from New Orleans are going through it again 12 years later.
It's an unimaginable experience that hits close to home for many, bringing back memories of hardship.
The best thing you can do is pray and donate some money to some good causes. The best thing that happened to us when we got up here was Salvation Army and the Red Crosses and several churches in town sought us out and I think it's a good time to take some action on your own.
Even though the Kriegers now call Columbus home, they still take monthly trips to NOLA to visit old friends and family. Reporting live in Columbus, Jory Talley, WCBI News.
Coming up, a nonprofit organization is making great strides in North Mississippi.
We check in on their progress when we come back. Campaign.
Each week, Courtney Mullins brings her 2-year-old son Carter to the Regional Rehabilitation Center for therapy. And although Carter was shy when our camera was on, Courtney says her toddler has seen a big improvement since he began speech therapy.
He has made a whole lot of improvement. At the beginning, he was just saying like no and no, saying no and little words like that, but now he's saying a whole lot. His vocabulary has expanded. He talks all the time. He does. He talks all the time. And like I said, I'm very grateful for it.
Last year, the Regional Rehab Center saw more than 1,500 people and 26,000 services for clients throughout a 19-county area. None of those clients ever received a bill. A few years ago, a multi-million-dollar renovation began at the center, which was built in 1961 on Pegram Drive behind the hospital. At the beginning of this year, a $350,000 capital campaign was launched to pay off the remaining debt of the renovation and fund new branding and logos for the RRC. Scott Reed, who has been a patient and longtime volunteer, served as the campaign chairperson.
In the medical society we live in today, people are cured when their insurance money runs out. That's when people send you home and say, good on you, I hope you do well. And here, they're not encumbered by that. You actually get to stay here until you're cured.
Now that the capital campaign is complete and Regional Rehabilitation Center is debt-free, that is cause for celebration. Still, daily operational expenses must be met. It takes about $1 million a year to provide services free of charge to clients like Carter and his family.
This is a big building. This is 6 acres of hope, and it has maintenance issues on and on. So keep your cards and letters and gifts coming to the Regional Rehabilitation.
The community's generosity means the world to RRC's clients.
To have a place like Regional Rehab where you're able to come and not have to be worried about, if I have to pay this bill or that bill, and you're thinking, well, if my child needs the service, I can't get it. Well, they are here. So I would encourage people to look into it, come by, or, try to figure out what's going on so people like me can continue to get the help that we need.
In Tupelo, I'm Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Regional Rehab has 18 employees and many volunteers. For more information, it's on our website, WCBI.com.
Well, Harvey's remnants will continue to push up into our area, especially for tomorrow and Thursday, when we could see more of that rain coming up. Those clouds quickly built in as we got into the later parts of the afternoon and early parts of this evening. We'll keep the clouds around not only today but into the next few days. You can see those clouds drifting up northward, but as we lost the sunlight, we lost the visible satellite. So we'll keep those clouds into the overnight tonight. Those clouds all courtesy of Harvey, still spinning way back down to the southwest in parts of Texas close to the Louisiana border, but it's going to continue to push off to the northeast, and all of that rain is going to be pushed back into our area. Right now, temperatures kind of split. The northern area that saw more of that sunshine, seeing a little bit warmer temperatures right around that 80-degree mark, but down further to the southeast, still seeing those temperatures only in the mid-70s. Going to continue for the next few days. Going into tonight, though, we'll see those temperatures dropping down into the mid-70s, and as we go into the overnight, drop down into the low 70s. Here, a lot more of those showers and storms beginning to push up north into our area, and it will continue to be humid over the next several days. So tomorrow, again, we're going to see more of those heavy rain showers as Harvey begins to push off to the northeast, and we'll struggle to see temperatures climb up near the 80-degree mark. Again, areas could see that 80-degree mark, especially if you see some of that sunshine. But as we go forward, we're going to see rain for tomorrow through around Friday, and can't rule out the chance of a severe storm, possibly even a spin-up tornado. But that's Harvey down to the southwest. It will continue pushing up to the northeast. So tomorrow and Thursday, the best chance to see those heavier downpours. But serious threat, especially back to the southwest, closer to Jackson, going to be the best chance to see that spin-up tornado. But even here in our area, we can't rule out the chance for one or two. So make sure you stay weather over the next several days. How to get your warning, get a tornado or severe thunderstorm warning if one is issued for your area. But relatively high rain chances for the next several days. But once we get to the weekend, looking a little bit better, we'll see those temperatures climbing up to the mid-80s closer to the weekend, but low 80s over the next several days. So just keep that in mind. A possibility of an isolated storm in the next few days.
Tenders or pretenders. Now, we told you last week we'd have 2 Carl Hogan Toyota games of the week on the End Zone, and you already know part 1 of our Carl Hogan Toyota game of the week. As the annual rivalry renewed as Starkville travels to Hamblin Stadium to face the defending 5A champion West Point Greenway. Both teams 2-0. They've looked incredibly impressive to start the season. That's won the last 3 meetings between these two teams. It should be a great one coming up this Friday. That's part 1 of our Carl Hogan Toyota game of the week. Part 2, we're headed to the conference. East Webster, a couple of Maroon Flag teams are 2-0 going into week 3. Both the Seminoles and Wolverines having won relatively close 4 games to begin the season. We'll have reports from both West Point the first week of them. Houston is in the top 5, averaging 5 with Milton receiving votes. It's 2 area East Webster and private school class top 5. You want to see this full release? It is online right now on our website at WCBI.com. And with the catastrophic flooding and damage done by Hurricane Harvey in Texas, University of Houston men's basketball coach Kelvin Sampson sent out a tweet Tuesday morning asking college basketball programs from across the country to send 20 shirts and 10 pairs of shoes for those affected by the devastating floods. And the response, as you can see, has been magnificent. Ole Miss men's hoops, MSU women's and men's basketball teams, and LSU basketball joined in by sending supplies from the programs. And all these pictures coming to us via Twitter. So great to see all the college basketball programs joining together for this for the healing process for everyone in the Texas area. And lastly, to baseball, today the Columbus Municipal School District and Mississippi University for Women signed a partnership that will allow the university to use the Columbus High's baseball field this upcoming season for the Owls' first year playing on the diamond. The use includes a 5-week fall season and a 19-week spring season with 7 home dates in the spring. MUW's first home game is February 16, 2018 with a doubleheader against Crowley's Ridge. The Owls compete, by the way, in the NCAA's new Division III, because as you know, this is the first year of athletics at MUW this season. So good to see the Columbus and MUW baseball program sort of getting together and joining forces on that.
Cool
very neat to see.
partnership.
Yep.
Owls,
we'll talk more.
Falcons, you know.
Yeah, birds.
There you
Birds,
go. Perfect combination.
Avian variety, mascots, so it sort of works
Yes.
that way. More high school football talk coming up tonight. We'll also talk more college football as well. Actually, for those of you who don't, for college football kicking on Saturday, but we actually have some games Thursday. Arkansas is taking on Florida A&M.
Nice.
Hogs shouldn't have any problems there, but it's still college football. And then Ohio State, all my family's from Ohio. They're really excited for Ohio State to kick it off Thursday. They take on Indiana on ESPN. So plenty of college football to
Wings for dinner Thursday night.
Exactly.
Yeah, that sounds great to me.
And I bet they are. Ohio State's going to be good. We'll be right back.
The weather's concerned, always want to make sure you stay safe out there.
For sure, we'll be watching. I'm sure our weather team watching also.
Yep.
All right. Thanks so much. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Have a great night.